A gentleman named Larry Sutton actually started the idea. He was president of the Association for Black Creek Fire Department at the time, and that's back in the days when the Ashland used to have the big Camptown races and Strawberry Fair and all that stuff. We were looking for something for our end of the county, you know, to say, what do you think of when you think of Black Creek? And the only thing came to mind was produce, or in this case, tomatoes. So, you know, ever since I can remember, there's been tomato farmers out here, and still are. So that's how that idea kicked around, and, you know, from there it's just grown leaps and bounds.
Well, the main thing we started it was for a fundraiser where we could buy equipment, do training, and help out with the administration part of the firehouse.
Hanover for years has always been known for its produce, especially the Hanover tomato. The local farmers down here, and I grew up down here working on the local farms and all, and some of them sold produce up as far as way as Washington, D.C., and they would carry it up there themselves and sell it up there to the wholesalers up there. But you know, everybody wanted as many Hanover tomatoes as they get their hands on. Of course, when you say Hanover tomato, you have to, you know, speculate, or you have to specify a little bit that it's what we call Hanover tomatoes. In the Black Creek area, we don't recognize Old Church and Studley area for Hanover tomatoes.
We always grew tomatoes. We always had a little garden, and my father would plant them, and that was one of my jobs when I came home from school, was to go down and pick the garden and pick the tomatoes. And we've always had a garden and have always grown tomatoes.
First Tomato Festival, I think it was about 1978, I believe it was, if I do the math right. It mainly consisted of a fireman's parade and competition, which meant we went out and had dressing contests and had fire trucks and all in the parade. And then we had tomato judging contest and tomato queen, that was it. Kind of small, low key. For this area, we had a good turnout the first year, you know. We filled up the parking lots with people and stuff, so, you know, all in all, the first year I think was a big success.
It was a family thing, and still is a family thing, and we all helped. It was very nice. It was small. We had about 300 people down here in Black Creek. We had one food booth and about 10 craft vendor tables, and some games and some displays and a parade down McClellan Road.
I've been to quite a few of them when they had it at the old firehouse. I thought it was right nice the way they had it done. They had vendors inside the old firehouse. They pulled the days out, and I would bring my children where they could see the parade. Everybody loves to see a parade, just like a fire truck.
We realized early on, though, that we, you know, were tight on space. And as the years moved on and it got bigger and bigger, we had to start moving to bigger venues. When we moved from the fire station to Battlefield School, we held it there for a couple of years. And then we actually had to stop it for at least 1 year because we lost using the school. And then we didn't have anywhere, we couldn't find anywhere else to hold it. And then the following year is when Parks and Rec stepped in and offered to help us and to host it at the parks.
The first year when I was at, we were at Battlefield, first year I got in, then we moved to Pole Green Park. It was very rough out there parking. One of my jobs was parking, and I was standing out there on a 360, so. I started out at the bottom and worked my way up.
You know, this thing started out as something, you know, to benefit Black Creek Fire Department, and it still does to this day, but the publicity that we get, not just for us, but for Hanover County, you know, you can't really put a price tag on what the value that brings to the county. You do a search for Hanover tomato, and, you know, Hanover County pops Sutton. So, even though we still are involved with running it, I think we're not the only ones that benefit from it. I think the county, you know, gets a lot of good publicity out of it, and, you know, I hope to continue to do that for them.
It has put Black Creek on the map, and it has raised the awareness of what we do in the fire department, and has also helped raise money for our fire department. And it's really helped us a lot. Black Creek Volunteer Fire Department is associated with the Hanover Tomato Festival now, and always will be. You know, the Tomato Festival gives us all something, you know, to come together about, and this is all about community involvement.
Nobody had any idea that this thing was going to take off the way it has. You know, we just figured we'd run it for a few years and see how it went, and you know, plan from there. But once we got on board with Parks and Recs, and, you know, they started helping us out, the thing would have took off in leaps and bounds at that point.
This being the 35th anniversary, and we're going to dedicate it to Oscar, and I think that means a lot to the whole department. He's been doing it for 35 years, and great man, really miss him, and we just want to keep it on for him. I got some hard shoes to fill.